I have something super fun for you to discuss now, and
Okay.
I'm sad for Rich that he won't get to weigh in on it, but you're going to be really honored. Michelle Obama, as you know, has got a podcast, and she's putting it to good use. I mean, she's really working through a lot of her feelings about the United States, about her husband, about her children. P.S. The answer on all three of those is she can't stand them. She hated motherhood. She can't stand her marriage. And she's not too keen on the United States of America. And there's another thing she's not too keen on, and that is being so famous. Listen to this, SOT 33.
I wanted to ask you guys earlier, like, what makes you feel alive? What makes you feel like you're present?
In the life I live, which is so abnormal now,
Yeah.
it's like being outside.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I say this a lot, something that comes with fame that people don't, that they don't appreciate, they're not cautious of, is the loss of anonymity.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard for Barack and I to just be in the world unobserved.
Yeah.
And as a couple, so much of your interaction just happens because you two are experiencing the world together, sitting in a park and watching life go by, stopping at a cafe and getting a cup of coffee. And then the conversation turns to the conversation next to you, right? We're always the conversation next to the people we're sitting.
Oh my God, Charles. So no one held a gun to her head and made her run for the White House and become First Lady twice, though you wouldn't know that to hear her talk. And on top of that, like Laura Bush, she kind of went off into the sunset and never bothered anybody again. Barbara Bush certainly did that. Hillary Clinton didn't. But Michelle Obama decided to launch a podcast where she talks about herself incessantly. That there's the woman she had on who was questioning her was a relationship therapist, talking all about Michelle's relationship with Barack. Again, P.S. Spoiler, she can't stand him. She looks at him across the dinner table and wants to smack him because she cannot stand the way he chews. The contempt is oozing out of her whenever she speaks of her husband. And answering questions like, what makes you feel alive? Like you're present. I mean, it was like listening to an episode of the Charles C.W. Cooke podcast. I hear you do this all the time. And so she goes out there. She wants people subscribing. She does a huge promotional tour. Come listen to my podcast. And then she's got the nerve to go out there and cry about how famous she is. And people are always talking about her, Charles.
Yeah, and just as a 30,000 feet point, she doesn't really have a big problem there in that description. I mean, unless there's something else going on. That is a good problem to have. To be very rich and very famous does not solve all of your issues, but it is generally quite a good thing to be. I mean, I remember when I was much younger hearing a movie star, I forget who it was, complain that people would come up to him at dinner and ask for autographs or whatever. And my view was, look, that's kind of what goes along with all of the money and fame and adoration that you get. There are certain times where people can be, I'm sure you experience this, but where people can be a little bit inappropriate, or they come up when you're with your kids and they wish you wouldn't, or whatever. I'm sure I'm not a movie star, but it is generally a good problem to have, is the first thing. She just seems wildly ungrateful that she has lived this extraordinary American life that most people would never get to experience. But the thing that I find most annoying about this, she says, that she's saying this on a podcast that she chose to produce. She was not handcuffed and put in front of that camera. She was not zip-tied to the table and told to speak into that microphone. It is actually possible to disappear even if you've been president. Ronald Reagan flew back from Washington, D.C. to California and lived on his ranch. And he made public appearances when he wanted to, but people didn't go find him. George W. Bush lives on a ranch in Crawford, Texas. He is in public if he wishes to be. It's not mandatory. This is an absolutely enormous country. There are so many corners of it where you can live, if not anonymously, you can live on a bunch of land with Secret Service protection, and no one will ever bother you. So what she's really saying is that she is no longer able to interact with the world in the way that she wishes to be, since her husband was president for 8 years and she was first lady. Well, then don't run for president. That's obvious.
Right.
We know that. I have some sympathy, I guess, at one level for someone like Dwight Eisenhower or Harry Truman, who, they lived after their presidencies, and it was an interesting move for them because some of them didn't have much money, and so they'd gone from being commander of the Allied forces and then president to sort of, do I have enough money for groceries? And they would live on a farm or whatever, and they didn't quite know what their role was as a former president. But this is a very well-trodden path now. They knew what they were getting into. They knew what it would be like afterwards. They loved every minute of it. Just give me a break.
Yes. And by the way, who made her pose on the cover of Vogue 3 times? Was that the terrible American public? No, she wanted the stardom. She wanted the fawning attention. She wanted everything that she's gotten. And now she wants us to feel sorry for her because she got it. Now, and by the way, you're not the subject of everybody's conversation. With 2 seconds, they'd say, is that Michelle Obama? Yeah. Oh, and then they'd move on. You're not that interesting, Michelle. Don't flatter yourself. So that was something I needed to discuss with you. Did you know gold is up around 40% this year? That's not speculation, it's reality. And if a portion of your savings is not diversified into gold, you are missing the boat. Here are the facts. Inflation is still too high. The US dollar is still too weak. And the government debt is still growing. This is why central banks are flocking to gold. They're the ones driving prices up to record highs. But it's not too late to buy gold from Birch Gold Group and get in the door now. Birch Gold will help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into one in gold. You don't pay a penny out of pocket. Just text MK to 989898 and claim your free info kit. There's no obligation, just useful information. The best indicator of the future is the past, and gold has historically been a safe haven. Text MK to 989898 right now to claim your free info kit on gold. MK to 989898. Protect your future today with Birch Gold. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.